Hey! That's enough! Now, I don't know what you plan on doing here.
Captain America, everyone's favorite shield-bearing hero, has not only ruled the comic strips, but has also made a massive splash in the movie world. As the star-spangled man with a plan, he's become a beacon of bravery and right-doing that fans all over the world can't get enough of. While we've all seen him battle baddies and save the day on the big screen, there are tons of cool scenes and little secrets that didn't make the cut. Yup, there are hidden gems and snippets that were filmed but never shown, and they could have shown us a whole new side of our hero. You're watching Secret Screen Stories, where we dig up the most awesome and hidden bits of your favorite movies. Today, we're super excited to show you the top 20 hidden details and scenes deleted from the Captain America movies. Okay, let's jump right into the first scene on our list, which is number 1, the discarded Civil War dialogue cutscene. In the action-packed Captain America Civil War, there was originally a moment that didn't make it to the final cut.
Captain, I won't ask a second time.
Which could have significantly altered the dynamics within the team. Picture this. Early in the movie, Hawkeye steps into the fray much sooner than he does in the film we all saw. He has a deep, revealing conversation with Bucky Barnes, aka the Winter Soldier. Now, Hawkeye isn't just making small talk. He's opening up about his own dark past, where he was manipulated into being a bad guy, much like Bucky. This heart-to-heart wasn't just a casual chat, it was a bonding moment. If this scene had stayed, Hawkeye and Bucky might have become close allies, changing Bucky's whole trajectory. Instead of ending up in Wakanda in semi-exile, Bucky could have been fighting side by side with the Avengers, stepping more into the hero light rather than being overshadowed by his troubled past. Just imagine how that would have turned the tides for the Avengers. Now, let's move on to uncover some more hidden scenes and details. Number 2. Bucky's aquatic mishaps. The next curious detail that got trimmed from the Captain America saga involves Bucky Barnes and his penchant for aquatic adventures. Surprisingly, Bucky finds himself taking a plunge in every Captain America movie, and each dunk seems to mark a pivotal shift in his life. In the first Avenger, his dramatic fall into icy waters seemingly ends his life, only for us to discover later that it begins his dark journey as a brainwashed assassin. Then, in The Winter Soldier, after a dip in the Potomac, he saves his old pal Steve Rogers, signaling the start of his memory recovery. Moving on to Civil War, Bucky's splashdown in Germany hints at his ongoing vulnerability to mind control.
Who are you? Colonel Nick Fury, Director of S.H.I.E.L.D. You would have known us as the Strategic Scientific Reserve.
Next up we have number 3, Fury's personal welcome. Imagine if Nick Fury had personally introduced Steve Rogers to the modern world in the first Avenger. Originally, there was a scene where Fury himself welcomed Steve back after his long, icy nap. This personal touch from Fury would have added a layer of warmth to their relationship, showing Fury's care for Steve not just as a soldier, but as a person. It would have also given us an earlier glimpse into Fury's character, beyond the mysterious strategist, reinforcing his role as the glue holding the Avengers together. This deleted interaction in a bustling public setting could have reshaped our view of the S.H.I.E.L.D. director right from the start.
நீ ரிப்போர்ட்ட படிச்சியா?
படிச்சேன்.
அப்படின்னா அது உண்மை இல்லைன்னு உனக்கு தெரிஞ்சிருக்கும்.
உன்னால முடிஞ்சதை நீ செஞ்ச.
Number 4. Captain America, the Romantic. Next, let's talk about Steve Rogers' old-school approach to romance. Known for his chivalrous nature, Captain America is portrayed as a man who truly cherishes meaningful connections, despite his heartthrob status. Ignoring an unexpected kiss from a character played by Natalie Dormer, Steve's romantic moments are remarkably limited. He shares just one significant kiss in each of his solo films, with Peggy Carter in the first Avenger, Natasha Romanoff in The Winter Soldier, and Sharon Carter in Civil War. It's a charming trait that reinforces Steve's image as a man dedicated to his country and values rather than fleeting romances. Number 5. Hulk discovers Captain America. Here's another little-known snippet. Imagine if the Hulk had been the one to stumble upon Captain America frozen in the Arctic. In an alternate universe, or should we say alternate opening scene of The Incredible Hulk, this could have been the case. Though the moment is blink and you miss it, making it a part of the official story would have drastically altered the MCU landscape. Having Edward Norton's Hulk discover Captain America would have firmly rooted that version of the Hulk within the MCU, especially before the role was recast. This could have made the Incredible Hulk a pivotal piece of the MCU puzzle, rather than the often overlooked chapter that it is today. Number 6. The mysterious Dottie. Next up, here's a fun fact that might tickle the fancy of hardcore fans. Remember when Cap reminisced about old Brooklyn days in Civil War, mentioning Bucky's date with a redhead named Dolores, or Dot? While it might just seem like a throwaway line, this description oddly matches Dottie Underwood from Agent Carter, Peggy's formidable foe and a Soviet agent. Although probably not intentional, the connection is too striking to ignore. It's a tantalizing thought that Bucky's past romantic interests could have aligned with his later life as a Soviet assassin, adding a layer of intrigue to his already complex character. Number 7. Rappin' with Cap. Moving on to a lighter note, who could forget Captain America's educational PSAs from Spider-Man Homecoming? These hilarious scenes show Cap taking on the role of an unlikely educational figure, offering advice to high school students. While they were included just for laughs, integrating these PSAs into the official MCU storyline would have painted a slightly different picture of Captain America. Instead of just being the noble hero living up to his own ideals, these PSAs would have cast him as a bit of a celebrity figure, balancing hero duties with public appearances. It adds a twist to his persona, especially when considering the serious tone of his disagreement in Civil War. It's almost like seeing Captain America in a parallel world where he's not just a hero, but also a bit of a school teacher.
But take it from a guy who's been frozen for 65 years. The only way to really be cool is to follow the rules.
Number 8. Zola's techie throwback. Next up on our Hidden Details tour is a quirky feature from the first Avenger. When we first meet Dr. Arnim Zola, his face appears distorted through a screen, a nod to his comic book counterpart, who exists as a mind inside a robot with his face displayed on a screen. While we didn't get to see Dr. Zola in full robot mode in The Winter Soldier, the clever twist of having his consciousness trapped inside of a computer serves as a fantastic nod to his comic origins. It's these little Easter eggs that make the movies a treasure trove for comic fans.
Not a recording, Fräulein. I may not be the man I was when the captain took me prisoner in 1945, but I am.
Number 9. Steve Rogers' Missed Connection. Alright, here's a romantic twist you might not have caught. In The Avengers, there was a subplot that didn't make the final cut, featuring Captain America and a charming waitress named Beth. Earlier scenes showed a budding connection between them, with Steve saving Beth during the chaotic Battle of New York. Their fleeting glances hinted at a potential romance that never fully blossomed. This minor subplot could have added a complex layer to Steve's character, showing him navigating new relationships while still being tied to his past with Peggy Carter. It's quite fascinating to think how this could have impacted his storyline and his eventual reunion with Peggy. Number 10. The height of friendship. And now for a fun little detail about the dynamic duo Steve Rogers and Bucky Barnes in the first Avenger. Initially, Bucky towers over the scrawny Steve, but after Steve transforms into Captain America, thanks to the super soldier serum, he suddenly out-heights Bucky. While Chris Evans and Sebastian Stan are actually about the same height, clever camera tricks were used to emphasize Steve's newfound physical prowess over Bucky. This visual trick not only highlights Steve's dramatic transformation, but also subtly underlines the shift in their friendship dynamic, where Steve steps up not just in stature, but also in heroism. Number 11. Rhodey's lighthearted jab. Now, there was a deleted scene in Avengers Endgame that might have had you chuckling, or rethinking Captain America's epic saga. In this scene, Rhodey cracks a joke about Steve Rogers' decision to crash the plane in the first Avenger. He teasingly asks why Cap didn't just jump out before the plane hit the ice. While meant to be humorous, Rhodey's quip brings up a good point that puts a twist on Steve's legendary sacrifice. The joke not only makes us think twice about the necessity of Cap's icy plunge, but also paints his heroic act into a somewhat comical light. Imagine how that would have spiced up the mood during one of the MCU's most intense chapters.
And what happened to the Tesseract after that?
It's bottom of the ocean. Fell out of the plane after I had to crash it.
Yeah, I've been meaning to ask, why did you have to crash the plane anyway?
Number 12. The iconic first comic. Let's now move on to a delightful nod to the roots of Captain America. The first Avenger cleverly incorporates an element straight out of the comics. During the film, we actually see a comic book titled Captain America Number 1, mirroring the real-life first issue where Cap famously punches Adolf Hitler. But here's the twist. In the movie, this comic is inspired by the real-life heroics of Steve Rogers himself, blurring the lines between fiction and reality. Plus, the scene where Cap punches a Hitler lookalike on stage, that's a direct homage to that iconic comic cover, bringing a piece of comic book history right into the cinematic storyline. Number 13. Cap's struggle with the modern world. Moving forward, let's touch on a more poignant aspect of Captain America's journey. In a deleted scene from the Avengers, we get a deeper look at Steve Rogers' struggles to adapt to modern life after being thawed out from the ice. The scene highlights his sense of isolation and the stark loneliness of waking up in a completely transformed world, losing touch with everyone and everything he once knew. This added layer would have painted a much more tragic figure of Cap, emphasizing the emotional and personal costs of his time-traveling heroics. It's a real gut puncher that would have added so much depth to his character, showing him as not just a super soldier, but a man out of time trying to find his place in a new world. Number 14. The real hero behind the bonds. Next, let's dive into a slice of history mixed with cinematic storytelling from the first Avenger. Captain America, initially serving as a stateside mascot to rally support for World War II through war bonds, mirrors the real-life tale of Sergeant John Basilone. A true World War II hero, Basilone earned the Medal of Honor for his bravery at Guadalcanal, and like Cap, was pulled back to the US to boost war efforts at home. Feeling the call of duty, he pushed to return to the front lines and tragically lost his life at Iwo Jima, going down as a legend. This subplot not only adds a layer of historical depth to Captain America's character, but also highlights the personal conflicts faced by heroes away from the battlefield.
Oh man, I thought it was a water truck. Sorry.
Alright, now I'm pissed.
Number 15. Captain America's timely intervention. In this one, we've got a high-stakes moment from the Avengers that never made it to the screen. Picture this. During the intense Battle of New York, Hawkeye and Black Widow find themselves nearly overwhelmed by the relentless Chitauri. Just as defeat seems imminent, Captain America swoops in to save the day, soon joined by Thor. While this scene underscores Cap's role as a savior, it subtly suggests that Black Widow and Hawkeye might not be as self-sufficient as their superpowered teammates. Removing this scene helped maintain the duo's reputations as capable and critical members of the Avengers, without casting any doubt on their effectiveness in a crunch. Number 16. Mystery of the Lemurian Star. Now, here's a real gem for you die-hard Marvel fans. The name Lemurian Star used for the freighter in the opening of The Winter Soldier. Now, to the casual viewer, this is just another ship. But those well-versed in Marvel lore recognize the name Lemurian. In the comics, Lemurians are an ancient race of sea people, linked to the Celestials' grand designs. This little Easter egg might be teasing the potential for these obscure characters to surface in future Marvel tales. Or it might just be a clever nod for the fans in the know. Either way, it's a cool slice of the broader Marvel universe hidden in plain sight.
Nice save.
Number 17. Bucky's shield ambition. Next, let's kick things off with a blink and you'll miss it moment from Captain America Civil War that could have hinted at a huge shift in the MCU's future. In the heat of battle, Bucky Barnes gets a brief chance to wield Captain America's shield and drops a casual yet loaded comment. Gotta get me one of those. Now, this line might seem like just a quip, but it actually nods to Bucky's potential destiny as the next Captain America, a role he's taken up in the comic books. Imagine the foreshadowing if this scene had made the cut. It would have set the stage for Bucky stepping into Steve Rogers' shoes, stirring up all kinds of excitement about the future of the franchise. Number 18. Indiana Jones meets Captain America. Now, here's a fun crossover that will tickle any film buff. In the first Avenger, the menacing Red Skull retrieves the Tesseract and scoffs, "Let the Fuhrer dig for trinkets in the desert." This line is a cheeky nod to Raiders of the Lost Ark, where Nazis hunt for the Ark of the Covenant. Given that both Indiana Jones and the Marvel Cinematic Universe fall under the Disney umbrella, this reference delights fans by playfully suggesting a shared universe. Hey, a fan can dream, right?
In this way, we are much alike.
I am nothing like you.
No, of course, but what others see as superstition, you and I know to be a science.
Number 19. Captain America's Sokovian wake-up call. In a compelling yet unseen moment from Avengers: Age of Ultron, Captain America confronts his own image when he sees graffiti labeling him a fascist upon his arrival in Sokovia. This scene, which shows him tossing aside his mask in dismay, could have added a profound layer to his character. It highlights how the world perceives his actions and shakes his understanding of his role as a hero. Though it's just a brief moment, it's loaded with significance, revealing the inner conflict and public scrutiny that Cap faces, deepening our understanding of his struggles and making his journey even more relatable. Number 20. Hawkeye's covert assist. Lastly, let's talk about a scene from Captain America: The Winter Soldier that didn't make it to your screen, but would have added a cool twist. Imagine this. After breaking out of the Triskelion, Cap ditches his iconic stealth suit, not just to blend in, but because of a secret ally's tip-off. In a scene that sadly never made it past the script stage, Hawkeye was supposed to track down Steve, but instead of capturing him, Clint stages a faux battle, subtling let Cap know that he's being tracked through his suit. Thanks to this friendly tip, Steve sheds his shield threads. How awesome would it have been to see Hawkeye playing the covert helper? Truly a missed opportunity for some serious Avenger on Avenger teamwork. And that wraps up our video on the hidden details and deleted scenes from the Captain America movies. If you enjoyed covering these secrets with us, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more awesome content. We've got plenty more where this came from, exploring the most stunning and the latest in blockbuster movies and series. So stay tuned, share with your friends, and keep watching for more thrilling revelations and adventures. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you in the next video.